Hey, and good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Dark Helmet Racing League's Season 5, Round 5 at Laguna Seca. Lots of fun stuff happened tonight, but not too many incident points. Lots of incident point triggered drive-throughs, but not a whole lot for me to go through other than some self-spins. So let's get into those and see what we have. So on this one, not much Bradley could do here. He's down next to the cones. You're not supposed to go past the cones. Cones can get stuck in your car as well, so gets squeezed down into him. Contact's made. He hits the brakes to minimize contact. Rob ends up saving it in the with a little tapping in the wall. But overall, this is just a racing incident. So we'll mark that for these. Let's just make sure Rob gets back to back to the racetrack nicely here because it's not a great spot to be in. And he does. Good job. Ooh, that looked like a bunch of netcode. Let's go back through. Let's go to chase to get a little closer. Go back to slow. And in this case, like, the Porsche is down the inside of the Acura here. Plenty of overlap. Should have the space at the apex here for sure. The Porsche, or the Acura does come down on the Porsche a little bit. Porsche is down on the curb, staying consistent with the curb. But that's definitely a netcode contact there. So if we continue this through on slow-mo, then there's a little touch to straighten them out. Good save by Troy. But there's, again, just a racing incident between the two. Well, this is a little three-way accident. So if you actually go to the previous cars here, and watch here, this looks like it starts with Troy getting passed. Troy got a little mugged. Looks like, oh. So Troy started trying to make a pass on Ryan. Ryan kept the gap, and that gave Brandon Powell, I think it is, a run. Nice close battling up over the hill. No netcode on that one, which is interesting to see how iRacing has netcode with one car but not with the other. So Brandon is going pretty deep. Ryan's kind of breaking a little normally. And Troy is trying to get up the inside. And I don't even know if Troy can even see all the way through this incident that's about to happen. He's probably trying to bail. It's full ABS for him. Just the lightest of touches onto Brandon, but that puts him into Ryan. And there is fault in this, but Ryan had a car down the inside he turned down. This contact here is so minor that I'm not really worried about the Troy to Brandon contact, which is what kind of causes just a little movement on the Acura, but in the end, it's down to Ryan trying to squeeze in the Mustang. So he's trying to squeeze down, and there is that ever little bit of overlap. So this is why I say any kind of overlap, you should probably leave the space here. This is, the contact is on the Mustang coming down on the Acura. We haven't got to apex yet, so the contact isn't because of, the Acura just leaving a nose in at apex. No, this is on turn in, so he's got overlap. So I'm going to leave this one as a racing incident. If anything, it's a little bit more on Ryan here. Brandon does a great thing and waits because he feels like it's his fault, but this is just the result of hard racing. Contact was made. Ryan could have done more to avoid the contact. Brandon was in a hard situation with a car behind him pushing him into the incident. So I'm just going to do this one as racing incident as well. Good sportsmanship, though. And I'm going to do it with all three as racing incident. And then we have... self spin from Brandon. And in a really awkward spot. So he does a best job to try to get a good rejoin, losing himself a bunch of spots, but he did the great thing here. If you would have rejoined at that angle, you're just all sorts of bad things would have happened. So this is a good example of what to do for other drivers. If you're in this situation, think unless there's a giant gap you can drive into, even then, it's if you miss something, you're going to be 100% at fault for the incident. So Brandon here puts it into reverse, does a little S turn to try to get himself pointed in a better direction, and joins at a very, very light angle to the track. So good job there. And that's it for the sprint. For the feature, looks like we had one just after the start. And this one's a bit more clear cut. So we're going up to the second left-hander before the climb up to the corkscrew. It's a passing opportunity, but you have to be fully committed to the pass. And in this case, Rick just mistimed it in the Audi just ever so slightly. He let the car drift out because his eyes are now going to the apex for sure. And let the car drift out into the Mustang. I know he said sorry in the broadcast. I heard it. Let's see if he does give the spot back. He doesn't appear to. Give it one more corner to see if it happens. And nope. So in this case, it's minor contact. There's no damage. There is a few loss of positions. This is the second bit of contact that Ryan's had in the two races. So he's feeling a little bit beat up, I can guarantee. But let's try to leave a little bit more space going to this corner. So this is on Rick. What I would like to see here is the position given back, and Rick and the Audi fall back behind Ryan here and just continue on, so I don't have to do anything. In this case, I'm gonna have to give it a one minor incident. but still something I have to do something for. So not for Ryan. Ryan's just noted this is beyond Rick. So notice driver of the 7-4 flammable contact minor. Okay, and I'll make Ryan noted. We have another 4x. Looks like we're getting more phantom 4x's from going off the edge of the track because there's nothing here. Rob did say his connection went to hell, so that's probably what this is. Yeah, so he's blinking in and out, so there's nothing I can do on this because I can't even see it. So no action. That sausage curb is evil, always has been. Return was okay. Would prefer to not drive 90-degree, but he had a gap to go across the track, so if he can get to a clear space, it's always okay. Like I think he had a drive through at that point, so I don't think he was enjoying it. Now, let's look at the attitude of the Lamborghini here. Lamborghini comes down. There is overlap. But just before contact, I think that Lamborghini loses control. Let's go into cockpit. Yeah. So there's right hand in and then the contact. You can see the jostle. So he's already lost it, then had contact. So this isn't on Ryan. This spin was already starting to happen. There was also overlap. So like I said on the other one, we want to make sure that we leave space if there is overlap. And that was always going to close. Ryan was a little bit off apex. He's plowing wide, so if the contact had happened here, I would have put it on Ryan for this if the Lamborghini hadn't been spinning by itself. But the Lamborghini has already really lost control, and the Mustang just kind of helped them into finishing it off. So there's nothing there for this. But if the Lamborghini hadn't lost control, this incident would have been more on the Mustang because of the gap here. He could have gone farther to the left to make the apex and give. He has to get to apex for this to work, and he's not going to. So, no action. Let's just make sure that for Ryan, there's no action. I could have said racing incident as well, but too late now. Let's just make sure the rejoin here is good. And it is. Bunch of Auto Steward warnings and drive-throughs issued. Then we have this one. This looks like another sausage curb induced. Nope. just wide of apex. Maybe dropped it on turn-in. Yeah. That's slow spin. Always annoying. No action. That sucked. Was just out on the outside of the track and thinking you can keep your foot in it. And sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. Another very similar incident as before. For me, when I find my car doing this, what I do in the setup is I just put the front springs up one click. It seems like the cars go too far on the nose and too much weight transfer, so I just go one click more spring on the front, and it seems to stabilize that. And this is after the race. All right. So that's it. Only one incident of note. Just saw your message, Renner. Yes, beep beep. Mustang says America. Uh, Overall, just one little incident, even very minor. So the driving standards tonight were very good. Everyone was having to pay so much attention to the incident point limits that I think contact was the least of their wants tonight. Everyone did a pretty damn good job of keeping out of the incident point limits. They were pretty damn low for this track. So everyone did a great job. Next week, I think we are at what track? Let's see where we are. Next week, we are at Sebring, which will be a lot of good hard battles because a lot of people have a lot of laps there. And the track has a lot of good racing for GT3s. So looking forward to it. Thanks, everyone. See you at the next one.